Speaking of those dubs, Ryan, last time we were on here, we were lamenting and teasing Luka Doncic and Jason Kidd for their comments after the Game 3 loss, basically conceding the series is over and making their plans for Cancun and whatnot, and Luka's too young, and he's not ready yet, and Kidd saying this is going to be great growth for us going forward and all this other crap. Lo and behold, the Dallas Mavericks came to fight in Game 4, and the Warriors fought with them in that first quarter, but you could see towards the end of the first half, that the Warriors were getting into their minds of, you know what, all right, we'll take this one back to the crib and finish it there. Mavs came to play. Luka had put up a great line, not the most efficient of lines, and he also got a ton of help. His teammates were shooting over 50%. They were shooting well from deep. They provided 89 of the points that the Mavs scored in this game in the 119-109 win over the Warriors. It was not that close until the bench players got in for the Warriors and really made some noise in the fourth quarter. But a 29-point lead after 3, the Dubs definitely were, okay, we will finish this at the crib, probably in Game 5. What did you see from the Mavs in Game 4 that you think might give them some hope in Game 5 in San Francisco?
Their shooters finally came to shoot. That's really the biggest difference. Again, I don't think they were getting bad looks in their 3 losses. They just weren't knocking them down. And this game in Dallas, they were knocking them down. And you saw it. They're knocking them down early. They're knocking them down often, honestly, and they're just able to run away with it when they generated so many good looks from 3, and they're finally able to hit them. Their scoreboards are going to look way different than they usually do, and I think it was an off game from pretty much everybody on the Warriors. I saw somebody put down a bet slip where it was like Jordan Poole under, Klay Thompson under, Steph Curry under, whatever these point totals were. Andrew Wiggins under, I think, and then they all hit under. So that probably had something to do with it too. Is none of these guys came to step up in the way that you would expect them to. And it's just, I think even Draymond might have gotten into some foul trouble. Maybe that was the game before. But we talked about it. It's really hard to sweep a team. I did think Golden State was going to finish off the sweep based on just what I heard from Kidd and Luka. And then you figured that would probably trickle down to the rest of the team because those are going to be the 2 leaders of the team. The exact opposite happened. Maybe they took it as a message of, oh, you guys think we're done. We ain't done yet. And then they're able to, again, come down, knock down their shots, and build a little bit of confidence. And I think that's what's scary with it or about a team like the Mavericks is at any time they can have 5 guys on the court who can all shoot the ball. Now, as we've seen in the series, they don't all go in. But we saw in the series against Phoenix why they were able to come back is because they were able to knock down the 3-point shot. So they're never really out of a series. I still think the Warriors are going to win it. In 5, it'd be really hard to shoot like that for 4 straight games. But I think with the Mavs, there might be a little bit fright if you're a Warriors fan, just seeing like how many threes they knock down and how many they shoot, and if they continue to fall, it's really hard to beat a team when they shoot from beyond the.
Yeah, making 23s in a game definitely makes life a lot easier for your team to get the W. Everyone really kind of came to play along with Luka. Obviously, Finney Smith was very efficient, 23 points on 9 for 13 shooting. Reggie Bullock with 18 on 6 for 10 shooting. But the team came to play for the Mavs. They weren't going down without a fight. They showed that fight, and Luka in these kind of games in general is just ridiculous. This is the 3rd time this year, this postseason, that the Dallas Mavericks have staved off elimination. Obviously, Game 6 and 7 against Phoenix. Elimination game for both teams in that one. And Luka in these games, he's averaging 33 and 12. He's been absolutely fantastic in these kind of games. And if they're going to need him to be that way again for Dallas to pull off a rare feat, because, look, we've talked about the numbers. 146 teams have fallen behind 0-3 in the NBA playoffs. Of those, 90 have been swept. 42 have been taken out in 5. That is by far the majority. 132 out of the 146. If the Mavs are able to force a Game 6, they will be only the 12th team in NBA history to do that when they have fallen behind 0-3. It's going to be a tough place to do it. That San Francisco is going to be rocking and rolling. I don't even know the name of the stadium they play at. I know the old one. Oracle. It ain't Oracle anymore. They moved across the bay.
It's the Chase Center.
I can't remember what it is. Is it the Chase Center? Okay, that's what I thought. I got
Chase
confused. The the Diamondbacks used to play at the Chase 1 ballpark, so Chase has had their name on a few different things over the years. Yeah, so the Chase Center is going to be tough to play, and the Warriors might have learned a little something in this last game, because in the second half, they started playing Jonathan Kuminga, came in, dropped 17 and 8 in just over 20 minutes of play. Moses Moody had 10 as well in about 20 minutes, so they might have learned a little bit as well about how to get these young cats to play a little bit more along with their superstar players of Steph and Clay and Draymond and Andrew Wiggins. But it's a tall task to beat this Warriors team 4 times in a row. It's going to be really tough to beat them in this Game 5, but you got to know the Mavs are going to come ready to play. They're going to have a lot of confidence after the way they played this past game, because they really took it to the Warriors from the second quarter through the end of the third quarter. They really beat them up pretty good. And if they found something that works, and if the road players can have that confidence, and we saw it in the Phoenix Suns series. The 2 games back in Dallas, they played great. It didn't look great in Game 5. The Suns were able to win that one, but it did show up in Game 7, absolutely, where these bench players were able to continue to have that stroke. They're going to need it to happen in Game 5, because unlike last time, this is not a 2-2 series. This is a 3-1 series. You can't blow this game where you got none left. So we'll see what the Mavs bring to the table, but they should be coming in with a little bit of confidence off of how well they played in Game 4.
Yeah, they should be confident. The Warriors will have home court advantage, so they'll, of course, have the fans on their side. And who knows, maybe it was just a galaxy brain move by Kerr to get all these young guys some Western Conference Finals practice, thinking he'll be in it for the next 5. I really don't know what that was about, because it even seemed like before they were getting blown out, he let a bunch of those guys on the floor together, which seemed pretty insane given the stakes of the game. But I really think he's just trying to figure stuff out and get the guys some practice, which is honestly like a flex if you think about it. Oh, we're so good, we're just going to throw out every single one of our young players.
They're playing with house money.
I think there was a point where Golden State was down by 2. They took the starters off the floor, and then they were down 10. They brought the starters back in and didn't get any better. But I think it might have been during one of those runs where he had essentially all of the bench on the floor together. With Golden State and Dallas, this series probably comes, I do think that it ends in Game 5. And again, it's just the Warriors, now they have to be the ones that hit shots. Last game, nobody on their team scored more than 20. And that's insane when you think you have Steph Curry, Andrew Wiggins, Klay Thompson, Jordan Poole, like all these guys on the team who we've seen go for 30 in the playoffs before. They're going to have to step up. I have no doubt that they will step up, or at least 2 out of those guys will, start to play better. And the Mavs, we talked about it, just like in the Phoenix series, typically you shoot worse on the road, especially your role players. And you're not as comfortable, different arena, all that stuff. But they have already played 2 games here in the playoffs. Those games didn't go so well for the Mavericks. But maybe they're a little bit more comfortable in Game 5, and they can extend the series just a little bit longer. And for the Warriors, it's going to come down, at least to me, is you got to win the rebound again, because that's something that they've been so good with their lineup, not having a true big. But Kevon Looney's been really good on the boards this playoffs and this series in particular. Steph, I think he was averaging like 8 rebounds in the first 3 games of this series, and the last game he only had 5, which is still good for a guard. But Draymond can obviously rebound. Wiggins has been a pretty good rebounder this series as well. And last game they did lose the rebounding battle. They didn't lose it by much. It was still pretty close. But for them to dominate this series the way that they have for the first 3 games, obviously scoring is going to be important. But I think having just a bigger advantage on the boards is going to be important for them as well, because it's what's been one of the secret sauces to their 3-1 lead.
Oh, yeah. It's always been the thing that gets overlooked with the Warriors, because everyone just gets so enamored with the shiny object, and the shiny object is their offense. But their defense and their rebounding have been an absolute integral part in their run in general over the last so many years. And I think they even, talked about it after the game, that it wasn't what they usually do. And Steph had said it after the win in Game 3. You're playing with house money at this point now. You're up 3-0. Game 4 is on the road. If you don't win it, you got Game 5 back at home. You can't be considering playing with house money in Game 5, because if you lose Game 5, now you got to deal with Game 6 on the road. So it's going to be a different attitude for the Warriors coming out in Game 5, I would think, than what we saw in Game 4. But I think even Steve Kerr, played a little bit into the house money thing by giving the younger guys a chance to play in a pressure-packed situation of the Western Conference Finals in a game where the game is close. It still matters. And if the young kids performed, who knows? Maybe it ended up working out and the Warriors starters able to come back with a 6-7 point lead, as opposed to what ended up happening, obviously, of them dropping off, being down by 10, and it didn't get any better after that. But it definitely was a little bit of house money feel for the Warriors in Game 4. I don't think we're going to see that again in Game 5 at home, because I don't think they want to go back to Dallas.
Yeah, I don't know either, and I'm glad that you did call that out, because we talked about I didn't like Kid and Luka's comment. I didn't like the house money comment by Steph either. Like, it's playoffs, you should be locked in every single game. And I know it's Game 4. You're up 3-0. You figure if you lose this one, again, you're going to go back in Game 5 and get the dub. But you guys already blew a 3-1 series like before. You could blow a 3-0 series. It's probably not going to happen. Nobody ever has. But it's bound to happen at some point. You got to treat every game. Take that cliche that coaches always say in players. Take it one game at a time. Like, you can't be looking at Game 4, oh, this one doesn't matter because we got however many games left to get a win. So I hated that he said that. I'm like, honest to God. Oh, this is probably why.
Yeah, no. I wasn't a fan of it either. What I was a fan of was the
these players to care about
after
the
this last game. But no, what I was a big fan of after the game was when Jalen Brunson joined the TNT crew inside the NBA crew afterwards. And Charles Barkley is wonderful for so many reasons. But one of my favorite things about Charles is that he doesn't care. He's not going to be politically correct. And he is going to flat out say the things that a lot of us fans will think at times. And when Jalen Brunson sat down after the game with the crew, Chuck went right in on him and said, when Luka couldn't play in the first series, for part of the first series against Utah, you were so aggressive, and it was you and Spencer Dinwiddie were so aggressive and so good, and blah, 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 blah. And then Luka comes back, and he basically said, you guys suck when Luka's on the floor. He said it a little nicer than that, but he basically said, why aren't you nearly as aggressive when Luka's on the floor? And Jalen handled it great. Brunson was fantastic with the way he handled it, talking about Luka has a gravity about him, obviously, that you're going to have one eye on him, seeing what he's doing. You almost can't play your same style of ball as you would when you're making up for him not being on the floor. But Charles Barkley, just being himself and having no problem asking the players, why do you suck when the star is on the floor, but you so much better when he's off the floor, is a treasure trove for him, because this man has somehow made himself more famous after his NBA career, which is not an easy thing to do, because he was really popular and famous as an NBA player. But what he brings to the table, I absolutely love and will absolutely miss whenever he decides to hang up his microphone.
Don't leave our audience hanging. What was the answer Brunson gave?
Oh, Brunson told him that we have to be better. Him and Spencer both have to find a way to stay locked in and be aggressive and bring what their game brings to the table, even when Luka is on the floor doing his thing. Like, Brunson handled it, beautifully, and then went on to take a shot at his dad, which Shaq had a problem with.
Shaq, very respectful of his father. I love Barkley too, though, and like with Brunson going up there, Draymond did that after Game 2, I think, Game 2 or Game 1, but he went up there after one of those wins. It was definitely Game 2 because it was in Golden State, which would make Game 1, I think. One of the games in Golden State, Game 1 or 2, he went up to the crew afterwards and just was talking about it, basically talking about the game. Very entertaining as always, and yeah, man, I love Charles Barkley. They had a thread going on Twitter the other day of Charles Barkley's best moments, and all of them. Mm-hmm. It's so funny, so gold. A guy not afraid to laugh at himself. So big ups, as they say, to Chuck. It's the best show. I'm sad that I think the Western Conference Finals is coming to an end in 5 games, because that's the end of the TNT broadcast. Mm-hmm. So I wish TNT would just give.
Chuck's not sad, though. Chuck looking forward to his vacation. He's already got tea time set up in Arizona.
Go.
He's waiting to go. He mad it's going 5.
For sure. Even his comment about San Francisco, these dirty streets that TNT had us on. James didn't right now. So he's the
can we talk about the craziness that happened in this game? I completely forgot about this. You got a waterfall falling in the Mavs arena that added to it like another 16-minute delay. Like Mark Cuban must be mad as hell. He'd be like, that is not where I said that waterfall is supposed to be. Like, someone get some flex tape or something up there, man. Get this hole plugged so we can play a basketball game. And then on top of that, you got Draymond with the most unbelievable free throw to ever happen, where it just sat and bounced and sat and then just sat on the top of the rim the whole time and never fell. Just a ridiculous game in general that happened for the things that went around the actual basketball game itself.
Yeah, I think I've only seen a free throw like that once, like in person. It might not even be a free throw. It was just a shot where the ball got stuck on that back part of the rim. And then you even had Reggie Miller call out the ESPN crew, talking about a game of 4-on-4 with their broadcast crew. This is Reggie and Harlan and Stan Van Gundy against like Jeff and Mike Breen and Mark Jackson. So
and
all of this game except yeah, I just didn't remember both of their names. But yes, but the sideline reporters, the two women. Yeah, Salters and I don't know if it's Malika Andrews.
No, I don't remember who it was for the NBA crew either, the ESPN crew.
But so like everything that surrounded this game, I guess, was funny and interesting, just not the actual basketball part of it.
There. The first quarter of the game was really good. It was a competitive battle. The Mavs and the Warriors both brought it in the first quarter. After that, it was pretty much all Mavs until the Warriors made that late run with a young crew. But so yeah, I think this is the last show where you and I are going to be talking about the Eastern and Western Conference Finals, and the next time we get together, it'll be the NBA Finals, because I don't think either team is playing after this weekend until it's against each other, and I think we're going to end up with the Warriors in 5 and the Celtics in 6. You?
Yeah, I'll say the same. The Warriors 5, Celtics in 6, and then I think the finals are scheduled to start June 2nd.
I'ma get it, you know I be on the way. Yeah.